Hello everybody, Maven here, and it feels like 2023 all over again because today we're revisiting a build that I literally mained for a portion of 2023, and that's Armamentarium on Strand Titan. And the reason we're back here is because Armamentarium finally got the buff that it deserved for a long time. So what it does now is weapon final blows will grant you plus 10% grenade energy. So it's built in Demolitionist to all your weapons, and this also stacks with the actual Demolitionist perk itself. So you just get heaps of grenade energy, and this is awesome. It opens up so many possibilities for different Titan builds on every single subclass. So I can almost guarantee that this is not the only Armamentarium build you'll see on this channel in the near future. Maybe we'll do another one, but we're starting off on Strand today because I mained it back then, and grapple is my favorite ability in the entire game. So let's break it down. Hope you enjoy. Shout out to our sponsor, Advanced GG, the #1 gaming supplement in the world. Use code MAVEN at checkout for 10% off. Link down below. Thank you. So this is bound to be a little bit of a shorter video compared to the last three because it's pretty much just gonna be, hey, check out how much nade energy we can get. Pretty much it. So here is the new exotic description of the Armamentarium. Not only does it grant plus 10% grenade energy on weapon final blows, but it also auto-reloads your equipped weapon. So it literally is just built-in Demolitionist and means you no longer have to run the staple Threat of Ascent fragment that you typically run on every Strand build, because this exotic pretty much makes that fragment obsolete. Now we can stack a bunch of nade energy effects to make this thing go crazy. And to show you what I mean here, take a look at this clip and pay very close attention to my grenade meter as I break down exactly how we're getting like over half a grenade charge back just for a single kill. So 10% from Armamentarium, Devour from Buried Bloodline gives 10% per kill and also heals us, and then 22% from Demolitionist on our shotgun. Now normally Demolitionist gives 10% grenade energy, 11 when enhanced, but on specifically snipers, glaives, fusions, and shotguns, it gives 20% or 22% when enhanced. And finally, Threat of Generation gives you some grenade energy just for dealing damage. The amount is unknown, but it is not a flat amount, and rather it is dependent on the amount of damage you deal. So with everything combined, that's like give or take about a 50% of a grenade charge refunded for a single kill. Now this is more of a proof of concept because I'm not actually running this shoddy with the build. I am running the Buried Bloodline, but I actually went back to the good old tried and true The Call with Demolitionist and Golden Tricorn. I always run this weapon whenever I play a grapple Strand build because it has pretty excellent synergy. Demolitionist is helping us with grapple spam, and after we proc Golden Tricorn, we can easily proc that second stack of Golden Tricorn by getting a grapple kill. And that's going to give it a refreshable 50% damage buff for 10 seconds, which is extremely thick. Now that's just my preference, but if you don't have the Buried Bloodline and your goal was to be as efficient as possible, I'd actually recommend running the iterative loop with lead from Golden Demolitionist. It's a fusion, so those kills count for 22% refunded grenade energy, and lead from gold helps greatly with the ammo efficiency. And in hindsight, I probably should have ran this with this build. Pretty sure most of you guys have this weapon craftable. If you played during Lightfall, you should have the pattern by now. Anyways, that's the build explained. I got some nice first impressions of it in the Renegades Legendary campaign. It's never not fun to spam grapples, it's always such a blast. And after having tried it out, it makes me even more excited to do the Arc version of this build with Touch of Thunder Storm Grenades, because I honestly think that that version will be even better. But as it sits right now, I cannot see myself using the Armamentarium on Strand over my baby, the Severance Enclosure. The thing is, Strand has options. Every Strand Titan build besides Abeyant Leap has the same basis. They have the same skeleton of grapple spam, frenzy blade spam, banner of war spam. You get it. And when it comes to that, you got Severance, you got Worm God, you got Synthos, you have options. But when it comes to the Touch of Thunder Arc build, I've tried Armamentarium before and it was never spammy enough. Heart of Immos Light was alright, but not having 2 nade charges is what really hurt it. So now with this new buff, That is exactly what the Arc version needed. So like I said in the intro, keep an eye out for that build on the channel in the near future because there's a high likelihood of me doing a build on it. But anyways, we got sidetracked like crazy. This is not Arc Day, it's Strand Day, so let's break down the rest of the build. So here's my subclass, and this is like the average typical configuration you would run for any typical Strand Titan build, just minus Ascent and with the replacement of Propagation for infinite unraveling rounds for our call. But again, the call isn't absolutely required. You can honestly run any Demolitionist weapon you want and it will work. And if you do run another Demolitionist weapon that happens to not be Strand, then you won't need Propagation and you can replace it with whatever you want. Anyways, for our aspects, we got the good old Banner of War and Into the Fray for maximum melee synergies, and between Into the Fray and our next fragment, Threat of Warding, we should have no trouble keeping a constant uptime of Woven Mail for that 45% resist. Then next there's Generation, we already talked about, and finally Threat of Fury to get melee energy back when we toss tangles at stuff. And onto our mod setup, we got the dynamic duo of grapple spam mods on our gloves here, which is basically just one copy of Heavy Handed and one copy of Impact Induction, paired along with triple ability orb mods on our boots in Absolution, Innervation, and Invigoration. So grapple is kind of this weird exception where it's the only grenade ability in the game that also counts as a powered melee. Therefore, Heavy Handed is working overtime here because it makes orbs on both our Frenzied Blade and grapple kills. And since grapple is also a powered melee, it procs Impact Induction, which returns grenade energy on a powered melee hit. So it's essentially acting as a pre-nerf kickstart mod, like by itself. And if you wanted to spam even more grapples, you can run an actual kickstart mod on that third slot of your gloves, but I just threw on Focusing Strike to get more barricades, which I definitely neglected to use in my gameplay, which you should follow up with after any grapple if you have it available. But they're nice because they can scoop up orbs around us with powerful attraction on a class item, and also proc Bomber to give us back some nade energy, as well as Reaper to make an orb. Then we got Strand Siphon on the helmet to make orbs with our call, double hands on to get heaps of super energy, and finally triple resists on the chest. And for our stats for the build, all I'd recommend is reaching at least 100 in both grenade and melee. And if you got any points left over, just dump them all into those stats just to further boost their damage. I just happen to incidentally have 110 super, but I didn't mean for that. Nade and melee are the only important things here. And that about does it for the build. And for those who are interested in Strand Titan, if you wanted my Severance Enclosure build, which has been my main Strand Titan exotic for a couple years now, you can literally just take this exact build that I showed you today and replace Threat of Propagation for Threat of Ascent, and then swap the exotics. And there you go. That's literally my exact Severance Enclosure build right there. And that is what I would highly recommend running if you play Strand. I still showed Armamentarium today though, kind of more of a proof of concept, just to show you what it's capable of and how spammy it can be. Like I said in the intro, I'm pretty sure there's something you can do with the Armamentarium on every single Titan subclass, and I'm excited to explore its possibilities, and maybe grapple might not be the optimal thing to do with it on Strand. Maybe perhaps Threadling Grenades could be the way to go, or maybe even Shackles with Drenger's Lash and Thread of Mind for ability spam. That could be interesting. But let me know your thoughts in the comments, and if you want today's build, as always, a dim loadout link to it will be down below in the description and also the pinned comment. And if you got any buddies who main Titan, I'd appreciate if you consider sharing this with them. And that's going to do it for this one. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to hit the like button and drop a comment because it helps out the algorithm. Be greatly appreciated. And if you are new here, please consider subscribing as we got a lot of spicy Renegades content on the way, and I hope you stick around for more. And that's going to do it for this one. I'll catch you in tomorrow's video. See you later.